Meghan Markle's new podcast is struggling to reach the success of the Duchess's previous show, Archetypes, amid criticism of her interview style. The Duchess of Sussex dropped the first episode of Confessions of a Female Founder on Tuesday, which sees her chat with women who successfully launched their own businesses and brands. It comes after Meghan launched her own luxury food brand, As Ever last month, which was accompanied by an 8-part Netflix cooking show titled With Love, Meghan. As of Friday, 3 days after the release of episode 1, Meghan's new podcast was number 19 on Spotify's general top podcasts chart in the US. Previously, at the height of its success in 2022, Archetypes ranked at number 1 in the podcasts chart in the US. In 2023, a top Spotify podcast executive called Harry and Meghan "facking grifters" after they produced one 13-episode series of a podcast for the company and then split. The end of the couple's reported $20 million deal was announced in June of that year, 3 years after it was signed. Spotify and the Sussexes' audio production company Archewell Audio released a joint statement saying they have mutually agreed to part ways and are proud of the series we made together. In 2023, Bill Simmons, head of podcast innovation and monetization at Spotify, condemned Harry and Meghan in an episode of his own podcast, branding the pair "facking grifters." Confessions of a Female Founder hears Meghan receive advice and insights from a number of successful women who started their own companies. This week, it suffered a plethora of critical reviews, condemning it for giving vapid lessons in self-love and being an ego-fluffing conversation. Confessions of a Female Founder was given just 1 star in the Times after its columnist James Marriott was seized by an urge to beat my head against the wall. The Irish Times reviewer Laura Slattery condemned the mutual lovin' of a multi-millionaire and a duchess who want credit for daring to love themselves. And Natalie Oliveri, royal reporter for Australian Women's Network 9, Honey joked there were certain prerequisites it seems the Duchess must have before booking a guest. They need to be friends, and the guest should praise Meghan where possible. It comes after The Telegraph, Standard, and Guardian all gave the Lemonade Media show 2 stars, amid other withering write-ups in The Express and iPaper, which saw the podcast branded an inane stream of mindless aphorisms and stomach-turning. Speaking to People magazine last month, Meghan revealed how other female founders have inspired her entrepreneurial journey. Whenever a member of the royal family goes abroad, hordes of lip readers come into their element. Take King Charles and Queen Camilla, who embarked on a state visit to Italy this week, or Prince William's recent trip to a NATO base in Estonia. The same goes for Harry and Meghan's quasi-royal tour of Colombia in August of last year. When the Duke and Duchess of Sussex arrived in Bogotá, they were warmly embraced by Vice President Francia Marquez, who invited the couple to the South American country after watching their revelatory Netflix series, Harry Meghan. After tea and coffee, the Sussexes visited Collegia Cultura Popular, a public school in the city center. Meghan wore a navy blue Veronica Beard suit, 448-pound trousers, and a 598-pound waistcoat, paired with a 3,775-pound Loro Piana Loom white handbag. And Harry donned a matching navy suit, light blue shirt, and black dress shoes. Standing in their blue uniforms, the students had the chance to speak to the couple about technological change. This is when a professional lip reader caught the fleeting moment a strained Meghan seemingly interrupted her husband. Forensic lip reader Nicola Hickling noticed Harry go to say something to the Colombian student when Meghan cut him off. Speaking to the Mirror, Nicola said, "Harry is about to say something. Look," when Meghan interrupts him and speaks to the boy. Meghan's eyes are closed and she clasps her hands together. It's almost like she is straining to speak at first. As seen in the clip, Harry slams his mouth shut and looks at his wife before he nods his head slightly. According to the lip reader, Meghan told the student, So you won an award in products? Is that right?" When she finished speaking, Harry then asked the boy a follow-up question. "How serious were you when you took on this offer?" The Duchess later described the group of students as incredibly impressive, smart, and savvy, and highlighted the importance of them aiming to be self-reliant and not tech-reliant. It is unsurprising that Meghan took the lead when speaking, given her ability to speak Spanish, which she picked up after interning at the U.S. Embassy in Argentina in 2002. On the second day of their visit, Meghan showed off her language skills when she told a student in the nursery class at La Giralda School in Spanish, "You're the same age as my son Archie." Meanwhile, the Duke practiced his beginner-level Spanish by asking the youngsters for their names and ages. The Sussexes also took part in a forum paying tribute to the contributions of Afro-Colombian women, leaders, and entrepreneurs. Harry listened through an earpiece to a simultaneous translation as his wife delivered a passionate speech in Spanish. Addressing the audience in their official language, Meghan said, "I'd like to start in Spanish because we are in your country, my husband and I, and because I feel the embrace in Colombia. It's incredible. So thank you very much, because the culture, the history, everything has been like a dream on this trip. And I'm sorry that my Spanish isn't perfect because I learned it in Argentina 20 years ago, but I'm trying it here because I can feel this community and this feeling is the best in the world. So thank you very much to the Vice President, my friend. Thank you very much." Although there seemed to be a rather awkward interaction at the start of their visit, Meghan more than made up for it as she made Harry the center of attention on the rest of the tour. A series of photos show the loved-up pair holding hands while watching folk dancers on the first day of their visit in what body language expert Judy James told Mail Online was a tie sign of ownership and affection. She said, "Meghan's hand on Harry's knee is a tie sign of ownership and affection, as it suggests she still can't keep her hands off him. It would also act as a connecting signal of approval and reassurance if Harry hasn't qualms about the visit or event." It's Meghan who acts like the lead and host for Harry so far on this tour, introducing him to the VP and taking some central spots in the more formal poses, so this stroking suggests he still has her love and support. Harry's response comes as he places one hand over hers to show he appreciates the bonding gesture. Meghan's other key stroking ritual comes from her eye gazing, where she throws Harry some extended, loving glances or teasing, flirty smiles, or raises her brows, or aims a pinging laugh at him to show he is still the center of her attention and to encourage him to relax and laugh himself. Even during this first day of the tour, she seems to be showing that she is hanging on his every word here. Meghan's love swoon ritual is one of the most intensely affectionate pieces we have seen from the couple, and that is a very high bar. Standing together, Meghan folds her hands in a soft, elegant gesture and places them over her heart as she leans her head onto Harry's shoulder. Her mouth smile is wide, but her eye expression is softened and lowered, as though she is reflecting on their love in a romantic moment. And it has to be said that Harry totally joins in here, making the romantic-looking signals reciprocal and evenly matched. Keeping one hand slung into his jeans pocket to create a manly-looking display along with his leg splay, he bends to kiss his wife on the head here, performing a coy-looking in-love smile as he does so. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex's visit cost the Columbia a total of $245,305, £44,725, 14 pence, which included expenditure on security and internal transport throughout the trip. The figure was released by Colombia's Vice President Francia Marquez, who organized the trip following a request by Senator Maria Fernanda Cabal. Ms. Cabal, who is her political opponent, previously branded the quasi-royal tour between August 15th and 18 as showmanship and wasteful spending. But the Vice President's office also revealed that Harry and Meghan paid for their own flights and accommodation in Bogotá as well as general expenses. Prince Harry faced fierce criticism last night over his bizarre new claim that his police protection was withdrawn to stop him and wife Meghan leaving Britain to live abroad. He said learning that the couple's taxpayer-funded security was being removed in 2020 was difficult to swallow. But senior police and Home Office officials said his latest intervention made no sense, with one former Scotland Yard chief calling it complete nonsense. A source close to Priti Patel, who was Home Secretary in 2020, said that the decision to scale back his security was a professional one, taken by the Royal and VIP Executive Committee, known as RAVEC, after the couple quit as working royals. It would be beneath the Queen not to allow RAVEC to do their job professionally or make leanings against them, the source told the Mail on Sunday. Harry was in the UK last week to attend a 2-day appeal hearing at the Royal Courts of Justice, challenging the Ravec decision, which has been suggested is at the center of his rift with King Charles. Speaking as he left court, Harry said, "We were trying to create this happy house." The Duke and Duchess reportedly believed that establishing a happy life of their own would help thaw relations with the royal family. The couple saw the removal of their police protection as a way of trying to strong-arm them into returning to the UK, since they felt that without security, visiting Britain would mean they had a target on their back. But Di Davies, former head of Scotland Yard's Royal Protection, said the Duke of Sussex was talking complete nonsense. He said Harry and Meghan's security arrangements in the UK are considered on a case-by-case basis. He's given a liaison officer who has access to the most up-to-date intelligence reports. This person will deal with Harry's own security people who are extremely capable. The idea that he needs 24/7 armed protection is ridiculous. So too is the idea that Britain is unsafe for him. This new argument that he is advancing is frankly bizarre. It was a Ravec decision, pure and simple, nothing to do with the royal family. Home Office sources involved in the 2020 decision insisted neither Harry nor his lawyers claimed at the time that his security was taken away to trap him and his wife in the royal family. Home Office sources involved in the 2020 decision insisted neither Harry nor his lawyers claimed at the time that his security was taken away to trap him and his wife in the royal family. One highly placed source told the MOS, "This is a new argument, and we don't recall Prince Harry or his lawyers making that argument at the time." Remember, the decision to scale back security was discussed at the time with Harry and his lawyers, but nothing like that was said. The source added, Ravec would have made all the assessments, and the decision to scale it back would have been their professional decision. Ravec would have consulted the head of the royal family about these changes at the time. Who would have been the Queen? She would not have got involved. This is an unusual thing for Prince Harry to say now. Speaking to the Telegraph on Friday, Harry said there was a lot of mistreatment he was able to forgive. But what he had experienced during the legal process had crossed a line, and he suggested he was upset with elements of the evidence heard behind closed doors this week in court. He said, "People would be shocked by what's being held back." He added that his worst fears have been confirmed by the whole legal disclosure in this case. And that's really sad. As legal proceedings came to a close, Harry said he was exhausted and overwhelmed by the legal case. But one royal insider said Harry seemed unable to make up his mind, adding that having previously said quit Britain because his family were not being protected, now he is saying that withdrawing their security was actually a ploy by the royal family to make them stay. Which is it?